Hi, I'm Frank A. Thomas, and I am just privileged. I am an African-American preacher and proud of it. And I am privileged to present this digital series on African-American preaching. And I want to talk to you about what is the preaching history of African-Americans, Part 1. The preaching history of African-Americans, Part 1. Africans were brought to America initially as indentured servants, but quickly and principally became racial slaves and human chattel. They experienced what Orlando Patterson calls social death. This means that the slave had no socially recognized existence outside of the master and therefore became a social non-person. The socially dead person was expressed initially as having no soul, then once acknowledged as having a soul, was not allowed to be baptized as a Christian because it could imply freedom or manumission. Despite social death, African American religion existed and was initially practiced under slavery as the invisible institution mentioned by Albert J. Rabbitoe, which consists of secret and illegal gatherings for worship and meetings on plantations. Meeting in the middle of the night in brush harbors, barns, fields, gullies, under trees, way away from the purview of whites and therefore considered relatively safe, slaves worship. This invisible institution existed alongside the churches that blacks attended with whites and alongside the gospel that was preached by whites who advocated submission and docility. Later, the invisible institution continued to exist along churches formed by blacks and for blacks that began preaching in white churches. The invisible institution existed. The style of worship was traditionally African with shouts, ring dancing, hand clapping, and ecstatic expressions and utterance led by one of their own. Therefore, the invisible institution generated the first African American leadership and hence the first African American preachers. Thank you so much for listening. I will see you next week. And please don't forget that each and every Monday we do a Periscope live broadcast, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Twice a week we release videos in this series on African American preaching. And finally, each and every week we upload spiritual vitamins to SoundCloud. We want to make sure that you will subscribe to each of these platforms. And I know you want to get as fast as you can this powerful information that's coming forth. So sign up. God bless you. And thank you so much for watching.